Welcome back to The Explainer. So today we're looking at this absolutely fascinating piece of ancient source material. It tells a timeless story about turning sudden, devastating hardship into calculated, strategic preparation. We're exploring the journey of the Pandavas. Just imagine for a second losing literally everything, your home, your status, your wealth, and just being cast out into the wilderness. Like, what do you even do next?
Okay, let's dive into this, because that is exactly the question we're answering today. How do fallen rulers, specifically these mighty heroes known as the Pandavas, prepare to take back the world? The stakes here are just absolutely massive. They haven't just lost a battle, right? They've lost an entire empire because of deceit. And now? Now they're forced to survive in this harsh, unforgiving wilderness. It's a total, complete reset of their lives.
All right, part one, the forest exile, a very gritty reality.
We're stepping right into the brutal, physical reality of their new lives here. I mean, these men were mighty car warriors, royalty, completely accustomed to chariots, massive armies, and palaces. But now they're reduced to hunting deer and other animals just to eat and survive the day. And they're covering immense geographical ground entirely on foot. The text actually tells us they cross through the regions of the Matsyas, the Trigartas, the Panchalas, and the Kichakas. They are constantly on the move, just trying to stay hidden from their enemies. And obviously, they couldn't just walk around looking like kings, right? To survive, they had to undergo this stark physical transformation. They disguised themselves completely as ascetics, wandering hermits. They let their hair grow out into these thick, matted locks, and they actually traded their royal garments for the barks of trees and animal skins. Along with their mother Kunti by their side, they were completely unrecognizable. The emotional and physical burden of this journey was just staggering. The text notes they often had to move with great celerity, which basically means extreme speed and haste, just to evade capture. And let's not forget the toll this took on their family. There were times when the terrain was so incredibly rough or the need for speed was so intense that these mighty warriors literally had to carry their mother on their backs through the woods just to ensure her safety. But here's the absolute crucial point. They weren't just surviving. They weren't just hiding out in the woods feeling sorry for themselves. Look at what they were actually doing with their time. They were intensely studying. They dove right into foundational ancient texts like the Rig and the other Vedas, along with the Vedangas, to deeply understand the sciences of morals and politics. They're using this agonizing exile to actively sharpen their minds and prepare for their eventual return to power.
Moving on to part two, meeting grandfather Vyasa. So during the course of these exhausting wanderings, a really pivotal moment occurs. The Pandavas, along with their mother, encounter their illustrious grandfather, Krishna Dwaipayana Vyasa. As a deep sign of respect, those chastisers of enemies stand before this great sage with joined hands, offering their salutations. Now, Vyasa doesn't need them to explain their miserable situation. He arrives fully aware of the deceitful exile engineered by the son of Dhritarashtra. He knows they were cheated, but his message to them? It's incredibly powerful. He tells them not to grieve for what's happened. He assures them that he's come to do them a great good, and that, surprisingly, all of this hardship is actually for their ultimate happiness.
Vyasa shares this profoundly empathetic thought with them, and I actually want to slow down here for a second so we can really let the philosophical weight of this sink in. He says, "But men are always partial to those who are in misfortune or of tender years." He explains that, while he views all the sons of Dhritarashtra and the Pandavas equally, his affection for the Pandavas is actually greater right now, precisely because they're suffering. His love amplifies in the face of their misfortune.
Which brings us to part three, a prophecy of kingship, a destined vision. This right here is the absolute turning point of our explainer today. Vyasa turns to comfort Kunti, this completely exhausted mother, and he reveals a grand, destined vision of her son's future. He looks right past their bark clothing and their current misery to see what's truly to come. He starts with the eldest, Yudhishthira, prophesying that he, who is ever devoted to truth, will conquer the whole world. But he's not going to do it through brute tyranny. No, the source text emphasizes that he will conquer all other monarchs of the earth, specifically through his unwavering dedication to justice. Now, as for the younger brothers, Bhima and Arjuna, their path is one of immense physical prowess. Vyasa declares that their sheer strength and skill will secure a vast empire, literally conquering the entire earth right down to her belt of seas. Furthermore, the mighty car warrior sons of Madri will cheerfully sport in these dominions. It's just this incredible vision of total victory and subsequent peace.
And this brilliantly illustrates the dramatic tension of their story. I mean, look at this contrast. Their current reality is bark attire, hiding in forests, and absolute poverty. But their promised future? It's ruling their ancestral kingdoms. Vyasa foretells them performing grand royal sacrifices like the Rajasuya and the horse sacrifice, maintaining friends and relatives in luxury, affluence, and happiness, and providing vast presents to Brahmanas. It is, without a doubt, the ultimate reversal of fortune.
Finally, Part 4. The Town of Ekachakra, a safe haven.
But to get to that glorious future, they have to survive the present. And Vyasa doesn't just give them a prophecy, he gives them a plan. He leads the comforted Pandavas out of the deep wilderness and introduces them into the dwelling of a Brahmana in a delightful safe town called Ekachakra, where no danger can overtake them. Before the great sage departs, he leaves them with actionable advice. It's a true masterclass in strategic patience. He tells them to live in Ekachakra, remain in their disguise, adapt themselves to the country and the occasion, and simply wait for his return. He promises that by adapting, they will succeed in becoming very happy. And the mighty Pandavas, hearing this wisdom, they immediately agree. With joint hands, they offer a simple, "So be it," before their master goes away to the region whence he came.
Which brings us to our final thought. The Pandavas could have easily let their sudden fall from grace completely break them. But instead, they used the forest as a classroom and a training ground. So, I leave you with this. When you find yourself suddenly exiled from your own goals or facing a massive setback in life, will you despair? Or will you take a page from this ancient strategy? Will you use that time in the wilderness to adapt, to study, and to prepare for your ultimate return?